Well, thank you very much, Senator Blackburn. I'm very excited about this subcommittee and the work we've already done together for years on this issue and similar issues when it comes to tech. I share your hopes for AI and see that we're on this cusp of amazing advancements if this is harnessed in the right way, but I'm also concerned if things go the wrong way. I think it was Jim Brooks, a columnist, that said he has trouble writing about it because he doesn't know if it will take us to heaven or hell. So it's our job to head to heaven, and it's our job to put some rules in place, and this is certainly one of them. We want this to work for children, for consumers, for artists, and not against them. And you brought up the example, Chair, of Randy Travis, who was at the event that we recently had with you and Senator Coons and myself about the bill and how he used AI in such a positive way. But then we know there are these risks. And one of the things that I think is really exciting about this week is that, in fact, on Monday, the President signed my bill with Senator Cruz, the Take It Down Act, into law. This was a bill I discussed with him and the First Lady at the inaugural lunch. It's an example of use every moment you have to advance a cause. Then she supported the bill and helped to get it passed in the House. Senator Cruz and I had already passed it in the Senate, and we were having some trouble getting it done over in the House. So we're really pleased because it actually does set some track moving forward, even though this bill, that bill is about non-consensual porn, both AI-created and non-AI-created. It's had huge harmful effects, about 20-some suicides a year of young kids who think they're sending a picture innocently to a girlfriend or a potential boyfriend, and then it gets sent out on their school internet. It gets sent out to people they know, and basically they believe their life is in ruins and don't have any other context and take their own lives. And that's just the most obvious and frightful part of this, but there's others as well. So I'm hoping this is going to be a first step to some of the work that we can do, including with the bill that we're going to be discussing today. So AI-enabled scams have become far too common. We know that. It takes only a few seconds of audio to clone a voice. Criminals can pull the audio sample and personal backstory from public sources. Just last week, the FBI was forced to put out an alert about scams using AI-cloned voices of FBI agents and officials asking people for sensitive payment information. Jamie Lee Curtis was forced to make a public appeal to Mark Zuckerberg to take down an unauthorized deepfake ad that included her digital replica endorsing a dental product. While Meta removed the ad after her direct outreach, most people don't have that kind of influence. We also need rules of the road to ensure that AI technologies empower artists and creators and not undermine them. Art just doesn't entertain us. It's something that uplifts us and brings us together. When I recently met with Corey Wong, a Grammy-nominated artist from Minnesota, he talked about how unauthorized digital replicas threaten artists' livelihoods and undermine their ability to create art. So this is not just a personal issue, it's also an economic issue. One of the reasons our country, one of our best exports to the world is music and movies. When you look at the numbers and how we've been able to captivate people around the world, that's going to go away if people can just copy everything that we do. And one of the keys to our success as a nation and innovation has been the fact, and Senator Coons does a lot of work in this area, we've been able to respect copyrights and patents and people own right to their own products. So that's why this No Fakes Act is so important. It protects people from having their voice and likeness replicated using AI without their permission, all within the framework of the Constitution, and it protects everybody because everyone should have a right to privacy. I also am working in the space on AI to put some base rules in place in my role on the Commerce Committee. Senator Thune and I have a bill that we're reintroducing on this to set some rules for NIST to be able to put out there for companies that are using AI, and then I'm always concerned about its effect on democracy. But that is for a different day and in a different committee. But I do want to thank Senator Blackburn for her willingness to come out on doing something about tech, including the work she does with Senator Blumenthal, the work that we've done together on commerce. And if Monday is any sign, with the first bill getting through, there in that Rose Garden signing ceremony, there's more to come. And so thank you, and look forward to hearing from the witnesses. All right, thank you very much. I guess I'll start with Mr. Brookman, the non-Grammy winner. I want to talk to you just a little bit about this consumer angle here, which I think is interesting to people. And I think at its core, all of us involved in this legislation have made it really clear that it's not just people who are well-known that will be hurt by this eventually, and that getting this bill passed as soon as possible is just as important for everyone. But I do so appreciate Ms. McBride's being willing to come forward, because those stories and the stories that we've heard from, like I mentioned, Jamie Lee Curtis, or the stories that we've heard from many celebrities are very important to getting this done. So you just did a report, AI-generated voice cloning scams, including that AI voice cloning applications, in the words of the report, presents a clear opportunity for scammers. And we need to make sure our consumer protection enforcers are prepared to respond to the growing threat of these scams. I had this happen to my state director's husband, their kid is in the Marines, and they got a call. They figured out that it wasn't really him asking for stuff and money. They knew he couldn't call from where he was deployed to. But this is just going to be happening all over the place, and the next call will be to a grandma who thinks it real, and she sends her life savings in. So I have called on the FTC and the FCC to step up their efforts to prevent these voice cloning scams. What are some of the tools that agencies need to crack down on these scams, even outside of this bill?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first thing the Federal Trade Commission probably needs is more resources. They only have like 1,200 people right now for the entire economy. That's down from like 100 just in the past couple of months.
Way down from even during like the Nixon year.
Yeah, like 1,700 it used to be, and the economy's grown like 3 or 4 times. Chairman Ferguson has said more cuts are coming, which I think is the wrong direction. I worked at the Federal Trade Commission for a couple of years. Like, we could not do a fraction of all the things that we wanted to do to protect consumers. So more people, more capacity, more technologists. There's just not enough technology capacity in government. I was in the Office of Technology Research and Investigation there. That was like 5 people. That's just not enough, obviously, with all these very sophisticated, just deepfakes alone, let alone the rest of the tech economy. The ability to get penalties and even injunctive relief, right? If someone gets caught stealing something, the FTC often doesn't have the ability to make them give the money back. Yeah. I know this committee has tried to restore that authority, but that would be important. And also, again, maybe just FTC could have rulemaking authority, but also this. I would like to see Congress consider legislative authority to address tools. Like, again, if you are offering a tool that can be used only for harm, voice impersonation, deepfake pornographic images, maybe there should be responsibilities to make sure it's not being used for harm.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Carlos, can you talk about what YouTube is doing to ensure it's not facilitating these scams?
Sure, and thank you for the question, Senator.
And thanks for your support for the bill.
Of course. So just to primarily consider, we obviously see great and tremendous opportunity coming from AI, but we also acknowledge that there are risks. And it is our utmost responsibility to ensure that it is deployed responsibly. So we've taken a number of efforts to protect against unharmful content on our platform. Primarily, we have updated our privacy policies last year to ensure that all individuals can now submit a notice to YouTube when their unauthorized voice or likeness has been used on our platform. And once reviewed, if it is applicable and we've confirmed that that content should be removed, we will take it down. We've additionally implemented watermarks on our AI products. We originally began with both image and watermarks using our SynthID technology, and we've recently expanded it to also be applied to text generated from our Gemini app and web experience, and most recently as part of our VO video tool. Okay. We've also taken the additional step to become a member of C2PA. the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity. And there we're serving as a steering member to work with the organization to create indicators and markings that will allow the content provenance that was created off platforms to additionally be recognized. And we're deploying those technologies across our platform.
Okay, thank you. We've mentioned the Take It Down Act, and thank you for the support for that. Mr. Glazer, you talked about how this is the first federal law related to generative AI, and that it's a good first step. And could you talk about how, if we don't move on from there and we just stop and don't do anything for years, which seems to be what's been going on, what's going to happen here and why it's so important to do this?
I think there's a very small window and an unusual window for Congress to get ahead of what is happening before it becomes irreparable. The Take It Down Act was an incredible model. It was done for criminal activity, cabined in.
I know.
Right. You wrote it. But it was a great model, but it only goes so far. But we need to use that model now, and we need to expand it carefully in a balanced way to lots of other situations, which is exactly what the No Fakes Act does.
Right.
And I think, we have a very limited amount of time in order to allow people and platforms to act before this gets to a point where it's so far out of the barn that instead of encouraging responsible AI development, instead we allow investment and capital to go into AI development that hurts
Stealing
us.
things, yes.
So let's encourage investment the right way to boost great AI development and be first. Let's not be the folks that encourage investment in AI technologies that really harm us.
And Ms. Price, you expressed concerns about this 10-year moratorium on state rules. I'm very concerned, having spent years trying to pass some of these things, and I think that one of the ways we pass things quickly, like Mr. Glazer was talking about, is if people actually see a reason that they don't want a patchwork, they want to get it done. But if you just put a moratorium and you look at like the Elvis law coming out of Tennessee, Ms. McBride, and some of the other things that would stop all of that. Could you, my last question here before we go to another round, could you talk about why you're concerned about what is right in front of us now, which is this 10-year moratorium?
Yes, thank you for the question, Senator. We're concerned about the moratorium because it's basically signaling to the AI companies that they can kind of do whatever they want in the meantime, and it inhibits states' ability to adapt their laws to this form of technology that's changing very quickly and then has this potential to cause great harm.
Thank you.